Hello everyone, this is AJ and welcome back to the channel and welcome to another movie review. Today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the movie Finch, starring Tom Hanks. So let's talk about this film. Okay, so I've just finished watching this film. It's literally today dropped onto Apple TV. So I thought, well, I'll give it a watch. Why not? Now, full disclosure, I was going to be going to see The Eternals tomorrow. But after watching this film, I've changed my mind. And I'll let you know at the end why. So like I said, this film has just dropped on Apple TV. It is from Amblin Entertainment and produced by Robert Zemeckis. The film runs for 1 hour and 55 minutes. It is directed by Miguel Sapochnik. Might be butchering that name, apologies if I am. Now the film, I was aware of the film. Haven't really seen nothing like a trailer or anything, but just some stills from it. And with Tom Hanks being attached and starring in it, of course I'm interested. So the film stars Tom Hanks as a character named Finch and Caleb Landry Jones as character as the robot who gets the name Jeff. Now, Caleb Landry Jones has been in the films Get Out, X-Men First Class in a small role, and 3 Billboards. Other than that, I can't tell you what he's been in. I don't know him. I don't recognise him from the X-Men or anything like that. Now, that's it. Yes, that's the cast for the film. Tom Hanks is the only person, a visible person within the film. So much like his movie Castaway, which he was fantastic in and carried that film on his own. So this film is set in a radiated post-apocalyptic future where the ozone layer has been destroyed and the sun's rays have beaten through and basically made the earth uninhabitable with extreme weather events and all this sort of thing. So we're introduced to Tom Hanks' Finch at the beginning. He's mooching around in dust storms in a suit that protects him from the radiation, that enables him to breathe and this sort of thing, and he's in the search for going out searching for food and all this sort of stuff. He has got a robot with him that is a wheeled robot, much like a dog, I suppose, that rolls along. And we follow him on his little adventure at the beginning. He goes back to where he lives. Now he's living on the underneath of a wind farm with one turbine still running, and this is how he gets his power. We come to learn that he's this engineer, and down there where he's residing, he's building himself a robot and filling it full of data by utilising loads of books and scanning them and the information being fed into the computer to form the robot's intelligence and this sort of a thing. We're introduced to his dog, that we find out his name is Goodyear, but he doesn't use the name for the dog because it's only the 2 of them. And like he says in the film, why do you need a name when there's only 2 of you? So we're introduced to this dog, and he loves this dog. It's what he cares for it. Yeah. So he's a person who doesn't really trust people and this sort of thing, especially the way the world's gone. There are talk of other survivors, who come out of the shadows and this sort of thing, as in they're all scavengers, this sort of a stuff. But you never see this sort of a thing in the film. As the film progresses, obviously he builds this robot. It's on all fours. It's on 2 legs, walking. He teaches it to walk, teaches it to, all this sort of stuff. Now, he then finds out that there's this massive storm coming, a convergence of tons of different weather events over his location, and estimated that it will run on for about 40 days. And he's not got enough food to last him through the 40 days. So he decides to pack everything up with the dog, with the 2 robots, and head off across America towards San Francisco, where he's hoping to escape the storm. And so on the way, obviously he's effectively teaching the robot to take care of the dog after his death and this sort of thing. that's what the robot's primary function is for, and all this sort of thing. And that's pretty much the gist of the story. There's a lot more to it than that, don't get me wrong, but that's the basic fundamentals. I don't want to go into any more because I will spoil the film for you, and I don't wish to do that. So I settled down with this film, like I said, and I like Tom Hanks. He's a wonderful actor. You know, whenever anyone asks me who my favourite actor is, it's very difficult to say in this day and age because you have these stars and that. You don't really have anyone who's an actor. And I always forget about Tom Hanks, but Tom Hanks is wonderful and he always delivers in anything that he does. He's a very inoffensive actor. He's a very nice guy in real life. This sort of thing, you hear no horror stories about him, so it's wonderful when you get a Tom Hanks film. And and being produced by Robert Zemeckis and Amblin Entertainment. As soon as I saw that at the beginning with the ET going through the moon for the logo, I felt that this film was in good hands. So yes, this film is a story of friendship, of growth, of love, of life, and it's a fantastic film. It touches on all these themes, and in the world and the society that we live in today, where it's very untrustworthy, there's a lot of poison within the world at the moment. You've got this film set around a friendship between a human, a robot, and a dog, and if all these three people can come together, these three differences that they have in physicality and all this sort of thing, it's a message towards everyone else. So as the film progresses, obviously we see the growth within the robot, not only in the physicality of how he is, but in his mental thinking, because he's like an artificial intelligence essentially. And like I said, we are established that Tom Hanks's character is like an engineer, so it's not out of the realms of possibility that you got to just accept that. Also, I mean, the film looks lovely. It's shot really nice. It's got some wonderful special effects for the post-apocalyptic future and this sort of thing. The ravaged Earth and the storms look fantastic. All this sort of stuff. The film really is a joy to watch. Tom Hanks' performance is second to none in it. He carries this film, even though he's the only person in it, and he's acting alongside a dog and a robot. Now, I'm assuming that the robot is a combination of CGI and practical. Mocap possibly, I'm guessing. Caleb Landry Jones is very good as the robot. The robot's mannerisms, the way he looks, the childlike innocence that the robot has, and this sort of thing. It's very, very good. And Tom Hanks playing off of him is a wonder to be seen. It really is a good performance by Tom Hanks. Even Caleb Landry Jones as the robot Jeff, a wonderful performance. There was a lot of his voice work, which is synthesized to sound like a robot. I was watching it, I was thinking, who does this remind me of? The scene where you've got the robot learning to drive, and that, it hit me that there a performance in his voice that actually reminded me of Borat for some reason. I don't know if you watch the film, if you keep that in mind, and some of his line delivery, the robot, you might see it, you may not, it may have just been me. But yeah, wonderful film. Now, like I said, my intent was to go and see The Eternals tomorrow. I was sort of half and half, but now I really don't want to. I don't think that I'm going to see a better film this year than this movie. I'll be honest with you, this has got to be one of my top movies for the year. It really is. Dune was another one. Dune beats this for spectacle, obviously, but for sheer emotion and this sort of thing, the journey that these characters go on, the themes within this film, I would say this is probably my favourite film of the year. It was a wonder. Yeah, it's got a very heavy emotional core to it. I don't really know what else to say. It's a very touching film. It's it's an inoffensive film. There's no villains in it. There's no violence. There's none of this. It's just a story of the growth of this friendship and the growing of this new life form, this individual, and the passing on of stories and memories and how to live a good life and this sort of a thing, being instilled into this robot, and yeah, the film does end on a on a positive note. It does end with an air of everything's going to be okay, but I don't want to say anything. Just go and watch this film. Really watch it. Like I said, it runs at 1 hour and 55 minutes, and it flies by. It looks wonderful. It's wonderfully acted. Okay, I will say that the story is somewhat predictable. It is. I knew where the film was going to be going as I got to about 10 minutes in, and then with the robot coming around, I knew it's very signposted. I will say that about the film. But if you don't know films and that, you probably won't see this sort of stuff. But that's a very minor negative, because what the film delivers in its emotional core is fantastic, and I've come away from this film very happy, feeling good, feeling great. It's and I don't want to spoil those feelings that this film has given me by going in and watching something else straight away. Be a joy to watch on a rewatch. If you got the possibility of watching this film, then I really recommend it for you. Anyway, that's going to be my review for Finch, starring Tom Hanks. If you enjoyed that review, please consider hitting the subscribe button and all the other buttons that go with it. And yeah, so anyway, this is AJ. Thanks again for joining me. Why don't you tell me your thoughts about this film down below if you've seen it and all that sort of thing. Anyway, this is AJ. Thanks for watching. Take care all, and good night.